Retail and hospitality is changing, with often complex and fragmented systems combined with large volumes of customer data for businesses to make sense of. It's critical to work with the right partners in order to guarantee success. At Tratec Consulting, we help retail and hospitality businesses transform their technology, removing overly bloated processes and creating unified and efficient systems of working throughout. So don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. Tratec Consulting, the leaders in technology transformation across retail and hospitality.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the All Things Borough podcast. I'm Alan, and this is the official podcast of Farnborough Football Club and sponsored by Tratec Consulting. Tratec takes your business visions and turns them into innovative reality. I'm here with Simon. Good evening, Simon. I know you've had a you're on YouTube, so really busy day today.
Tough. That 2 hours I did in the morning, God, it really took it out of me, I tell you.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about it, Simon.
I had to come in, reset the server because it was dead. It restored all that out, and then the Dura was sick, so we didn't sit anyway. That was a complete waste of time. So been for a run this afternoon. I've been down Lidl, pick up my bits. Got my breakfast ready for tomorrow morning as well. Happy days. Not that I'll probably do any work tomorrow either, but we'll see.
Yeah. No.
As your day been, Mr. Rosler? Been
well, a lot busier than yours. Yeah. As you know, I found out I think I'm going to be going to Devon on Wednesday as part of my job.
So nice,
Wednesday's going to be a long one.
Nice pasty, bit of ice cream. Lovely, mate. Very nice.
No, I don't think it's going to be warm enough for ice cream, but
maybe you pick up the ice cream van you said you were going to get when you were down there last time.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Right, so let's get into it. Tonight is going to be a good episode because we have got the two guys that have started the Farnborough FC Futsal team. We've got Lee Bishop and Stuart Lee. Good evening, guys. How are you doing?
Evening, gents.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Yeah. Let's the first thing we're going to start with is how did this all come about? Because like we said off air with you, Lee, that like me and Simon, we don't really know anything about futsal rules or how it's played. Or I mean, we saw the result the other day, which we'll get into later on. It's high scoring, so I don't know if that's normal, but let's start with how it all came about with the club.
Yeah, so I'll probably answer that, Stuart, and I'll hand over to you for a more futsal related specific questions. So we've been doing futsal in some way, shape or form in the local area since 2016, 2017, 2018, kind of around there. And it all started when I was coaching youth football. And one winter weekend, we didn't have a game and we saw a futsal tournament, which one of our players sent me over on WhatsApp, and we went for it. Didn't know what futsal was, never heard of it, and turned up in a sports hall. Some of the lads bought boots, so we were a little bit perturbed. But played this tournament indoors and this is down at Farnborough Leisure Centre at the time before it got knocked down. And yeah, the kids just instantly fell in love with it. It was intense, short, sharp, loads of goals. They were all involved in the game. And although we lost heavily to the futsal teams playing, we loved it. So the long story short, and I will keep it short because I could waffle on for hours about how we got here, is we slowly grew the youth section, opened up to new age groups, which attracted brothers, sisters, friends and family. And then in 2018, a group of dads, I suppose, and coaches kind of got together and started doing men's futsal, which Stu then started to lead on. That led to a first game back in 2018, which slowly evolved into the men's team we have today. So we started under a club called Rushmore Community, who we're still linked to at the moment, a really good club locally that do a lot for local football. And then the opportunity came to have a conversation with Farnborough this summer. We were struggling for players. The club needed the team needed a bit of a push, a bit of promotion. And the conversation was very early with Farnborough, but they showed a lot of interest. Thought they could help us out on where we were struggling, and it just kind of snowballed from there. We've had some good support from the club, and we've had a massive influx of players interested, and that's all down to the banner of Farnborough. Really, it's really pushed us kind of in the forefront of a lot of people's minds. So that is the short version of a very long story, Alan, about how we've become to be. And yeah, we're very happy to be with Farnborough at the moment.
So that's basically how the club is where it is now. It come from very small to now a bit slightly bigger, I'd say, in local area, and you've now got yourselves obviously affiliated with the club as well, which is all good. What's well, for probably Stuart's turn on this one. What are the rules with futsal? If people don't know, as I don't know anything about it, if I'm honest, what are the rules, and what's the differences? What's the main differences between sort of playing football as 11-a-side, 5-a-side, as opposed to futsal?
So it's 5-a-side, so it's 5-a-side sport played indoors. Arguably the biggest difference is that the ball's a bit denser than a football. That's not to say it can't do maths. It's just a bit weighted, so it doesn't bounce as much. But it's 5v5, so it's the way to look at it is it's like a constant midfield battle. And as soon as someone loses the ball, they're in on goal. And if you beat that midfield bit, then you're in on goal the other end. Uses hockey-shaped goals, and then the court's typically about 40 meters long. 20 meters wide, so it's obviously is really reliant on teams being very tactically aware and technically gifted to be able to manipulate the ball and create opportunities to score. We have kick-ins instead of throw-ins, so that's a slight difference. But the general gameplay is just a faster version, if you like, of football, where you can really build up in football and take your time. You can still build in futsal, but you're just closer to the goal quicker. So that's the main differences at a high level, if you like.
You say that the ball's denser. Does that mean it's smaller, slightly smaller than a normal football? Then
it's effectively a size 4. So football we typically is a size 5, and then use a size 4 for futsal. But then it's also that slightly denser, so it just doesn't bounce as much. So it's very reliant on that technical skill to do stuff with the ball.
Technically gifted players, is it a requirement to be like that technically gifted as a player, or can anyone really sort of come in and do it?
To be fair, anyone can play it. Absolutely anyone can play it. It's this, you want to convert in a few years' time, I imagine, where we probably grew up playing in sports halls with massive green tennis balls and smashing them around everywhere.
Yeah.
The futsal ball it's not flying off all the time. Of course, you can stand there and just smash it if that's what you want to do. But because you play to court lines, so it would go out of place. So it's not like off the walls and all that jazz. It's very much within a court. So if you kick it off, then it goes to the other team. So it's really reliant on it's building that technical skill. But you can play it, at any age, and anybody can have a go at it. It's really open for all. So which is really positive, and it's a great sport to be involved with. What
do you think the best things about futsal as opposed to the best things about 11-a-side football? What's the best things about futsal, you think, in your mind?
The biggest standout thing. So I've coached futsal effectively. My son plays in under-15s team, and from under-7s through to under-15s, we've trained futsal and played football matches at the weekends, and that's enabled us just to play in all weathers because you're indoors, so that works. But the biggest challenges from the two, I suppose the main thing really is you're just involved in the game more, which is probably the best thing. So when 11-a-side, you can get, certainly the younger age groups, but even in the men's game, you can, in the adult game, female men's game, you can end up with the player that doesn't touch the ball for ages because they're just defending, teams attacking all the time, and we're not recycling the ball. Whereas in futsal, if I've got the ball, there's only 4 other players I could pass to. There is a specific goalkeeper rule, which if it's come from them, I can't go back to the goalkeeper. So then I've only got 3 players I can pass to. So immediately everyone's more involved more often.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing but certainly for participation. I think certainly for kids, I think that's a really good thing for them. As you always see a lot of even I think these days a lot of kids play so 8-a-side now, don't have smaller size pitches, trying to get them more involved. Whereas when me and Alan were playing, and probably yourself, it was and Lee. I'll bring Lee in as well, even though he looks younger. You'd end up with left back or right back. You wouldn't see the ball for 40 minutes, would you? And you'd run it. All you'd be doing is run up to the halfway line and not actually seeing the ball. So that's definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. That does sound like a good thing certainly for younger kids.
Yeah, and it's brilliant because with the younger kids as well, everyone's got an opportunity to score almost all the time. Like there's plenty of time where the goalkeeper will score because we'll play something called a fly keeper system where the keeper will come out and play as an outfield player to kind of add an extra player, if you like, on
Yeah.
court to try and beat the opposition. And if the defending keeper at the time saves it and has got a clear shot, they could shoot and score, and that happens in futsal relatively
Yeah. Oh, right, so
regularly.
there's no rules where you have to be over the halfway line to shoot or anything like that, or you have to be within a certain area to score or anything like. A bit like hockey, I suppose. You have to be inside the D, don't you?
Yeah, no. In theory, it's normal gameplay. So you're just out playing. You can score from anywhere. There's no head height rule, none of that rubbish. So you can just play, and that's what makes it such a great sport. Because as soon as you're on the ball, you've probably got an opportunity to score, but you've also got a high risk of conceding a goal if you lose it in the
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
So that's whereas with football, there's an element of I could lose it really high up the pitch, and I've probably got time to recover, depending on who you're
Mm.
playing against. But you've probably got time to recover. Whereas futsal, it's immediate reaction, and that's something that from a futsal into football type link, we can see that. I certainly see that in a lot of players where their football clubs come to us and go, "Oh, they've been coming to you for a few months," and we can just see the growth in them technically and mentally with the game because they're
Mm.
so switched on and alert to what's going on.
I,
Is there like a sorry, go on, Lee.
I was just going to say one of the main differences and one of the main things I think you would see if you came along or if you brought your boy or girl along to our youth system is you might have a child or a young adult who struggles in football. It might be they're really skinny and scrawny and get pushed off the ball, or they're big and strong. You know, the skills at futsal are different to what you need at football. So what we often see with our youth teams, especially, is a player might come along and their parent might go, he's struggling at football. You know, he's he's not the quickest, he's not the strongest, he hasn't got this and that, and all of a sudden you'll see them excel at futsal because
Mm.
it's a different skill set. And it also, I go back to what Stu says about anyone can score. We have people who come to our sessions, especially at youth and into teenage years, who have been pigeonholed as a defender or on a Saturday morning or a
Mm.
striker. They come and play futsal and they get to experience every position for an hour. If you play a
Mm.
futsal match, you're a defender 1 minute, a striker the next.
Mm.
It's literally as quick, and you see a massive development in your all round game. So I think for me, looking on from the side as a coach and more as a facilitator now, the difference you see in players who play football and futsal is massive as opposed to those who just specialise in one.
So you think Lee, that the difference between players and players who play futsal and players who play 11-a-side, you're not pigeonholed to a position. You kind of have to be more of a jack of all trades type sort of player and do a bit of
I,
everything rather than being really good at one thing and not such good at another. Would you say that?
I think, yeah, I think especially at the higher levels, Stu will talk more about this, but if you're going to play for a good level futsal team, you have to be able to defend. You have to be able to switch on tactically. You have to be able to recover and not, if you misplace a pass, there's no hands in the air. Oh,
Mm.
you've got to just react and be in defensive mode immediately. There's no time. Um, but I think it's more that if you can get involved or get your kids involved at a young age, you'll see them. I wish I could play it when I was a kid because it just develops them quicker. It helps with football as well. You see futsal players play football, they lose the ball and immediately they're just going to get it back straight away.
Mm.
It's a joy, but you do have to have that all round game at the higher levels, and that's what obviously we're trying to bring in at Farnborough.
So what kind of levels are there then in futsal? Because obviously, like in football, we know, like especially in non-league, we know like you've got step one, step two, step three, and so on, and then obviously the professional game. So what are the different levels of the futsal world, and what level are Farnborough playing at them?
So within English futsal, you've got Tier 1, which is your national league that covers the full breadth of the country. Tier 2, which is effectively split north and south, and then Tier 3, which is effectively a North Midland South. So Farnborough sits within that Tier 3 South element. The winners of Tier 1 will go into the Champions League. So Manchester this last year won Tier 1, and they went into the Champions League and played games played in there. It works slightly different to the Champions League from a football point of view. It's sort of group stages right from the very beginning, but you play them all
And these are
sort
involving
of within a
teams
week.
in Europe as well.
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Oh
So
wow.
you've got your teams across Europe that will all be involved in that. So depending on who qualifies from which countries, you can end up with a nice trip abroad. So we've got well at least 3 years till we're there, but we'll have to win
Yeah.
quite a bit in a row to be there that quickly. But yeah, so that's a great opportunity for people to be able to go out and go abroad, play some teams from abroad, and it's very very popular. It's one of those sports that years ago we would have been saying the Latin American countries are so good at football and they're technically gifted because they've grown up with futsal. That was like
Yeah.
the sport they were doing at school when we were all outside freeing ourselves playing tag rugby. They're indoors just knocking a ball around and doing all that sort of thing. So yeah, there's opportunity for growth. Certainly an opportunity for massive growth within England within futsal, and I expect to see that over the years to come, without a shadow of a doubt. As more schools take it on, it will grow exponentially.
Would you would
So
you
what's
um would you say
futsal?
would you say futsal's more of a kind of a is also a kind of a sort of street soccer type element to it as well? Because you when you mentioned about the South American teams, obviously they all would connect to like street soccer, don't they, playing on the streets and stuff, and knocking a sheep's head around and all that sort of stuff. And then
Yeah,
and it's similar to that, I should imagine.
yeah, it's that sort of element to it of it's, that real close control, element, and you're not just smashing a ball 50 yards, across the field or whatever. It's within a tight area, and that's where you've got that link to that street soccer element, definitely.
Yeah, sort of taking a man on one and then beating him and then getting a shot away, that sort of thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we mentioned earlier about positions. There are typical positions. You've got a goalkeeper, a fix, which is like your sort of centre back, if you like, wingers, and then a pivot, who's kind of like your central striker. And with futsal, because it's so interchangeable and people have got to move around, but you will have games. Will work from a tactical, strategic element for us. We've got some excellent wingers that will take people on 1v1 and get their shots off. And so we'll look to create that within a game of moving the ball so that we can then get someone 1v1 and go at them to score. And that's kind of one of our tactics that we would use depending on who we're playing against.
What kind of things you do, like for training wise, to train for the season or for a game or whatever? Is it any different to what we would know as training for an 11-a-side team?
It's very similar concepts, to be fair. There's five key areas that you have to be able to see at all times when you're playing, and that's the same across football and futsal. You have to be able to see the ball and stay engaged with it. You've got to know where the goal is to defend it and score in it, and then you need to understand where your teammates are, the opposition, and the spaces to play into. So those
Yeah.
five elements are the same across both sports. And then for us, because it's a tighter area, it's just identifying, right, well, how do we get that bit of space to expose it to then be able to get in and score? You get less of I've received the ball just outside the area and I'm just smashing it.
Mm.
And you see great goals in football, and there's an element because the goal is a bit bigger, so there's opportunities to do that. You can still do it in futsal, but because the goal's smaller, goalkeepers are still the same size if they were an 11-a-side. So you've got to really work your area to be able to score.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to write those 5 points down because I probably could have learned that 25 years ago. I might have been, different to what I am now.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm quite curious because was futsal sort of around in this country when we were younger? Because I don't know about Simon, but I don't ever remember seeing or hearing anything about futsal or anything. Because when we played five-a-side, it was just five-a-side with a normal ball, even if
I,
it
I
was
mean,
indoors.
yeah, I certainly don't remember growing up with it at all. I first encountered it when I lived abroad and played a little bit, just with friends. But at the time, I didn't even clock it as futsal. I was just like, this ball's a bit weighty. What the hell are we doing with this? But
Yeah.
then when I was, 2016, I think was when I sort of first touched base and someone went, look, this is futsal. What about this? Have you seen it? And I watched it and thought, I could play that. I could have a go.
Yeah.
Why not? So, yeah, no, it's great. I say it's new when it first sort of was around. I'm not sure, but it's certainly growing now at a decent rate. So
And
That's
what's your
that's good.
background then? Sorry. What's your background then, Stuart? With in regards to football, did you play 11-a-side as well, or was it just futsal on smaller sided sort of games like that?
no, yeah, I played football with sort of school. I didn't play at college, but then played at university for a bit, and then I up in North Wales, and then moved out to France. Played for a club out in France for a season, and then went over to Spain and played there for a season, just semi-professional stuff, nothing glamorous, unfortunately. And then came back, got a job, and then 2016 encountered futsal and went, I need to get involved with this. But my over the last 10 years or so, I got into coaching when my son started playing. And so then I've coached, done my badges as we've gone along, and then met Lee, and futsal took over, and we went, hang on a second, we can get something going here. And yeah, and now we're linked with Farnborough, and things are flying, and we've had a great start to the season with 3 points out of 3 points, so we can't complain about that.
Yeah, I was going to mention
Yeah.
that because you played. Did you play? Is it your first game on yesterday? Wasn't it? Is that right?
First league match on Sunday.
First
Yes,
league, yeah,
just
yeah.
And that was down in Southampton against the Aztecs, correct?
It was Southampton Aztecs, yeah. So we played them a couple of times last season, so we knew it was going to be difficult, and it started to come together. You could see large portions of the game where it really came together, and yeah, the boys walked away with an
So
immense
what
win to
was it?
start the season. Really good.
Yeah, yeah. What was the score? What was the score yesterday? It was like
12-5, was
12-1.
it?
12-5, yeah,
Yeah.
12-5. So it was
And
really,
are
really
scores like
positive for us.
are scores like that quite normal, or are they?
In all honesty, it can range. You can have games where you just go on a run, and we had opportunities. We opened them up a few times, and it was what 4-2 at half time, but for the first 10 minutes, it was 0-0. And then you can
Yeah.
get a couple of quick goals quite easy. And this is the thing with futsal, because you're so close to the goal all the time, whether you're defending it, attacking it, one mistake leads to a goal
Mm,
really quick. And
mm.
so we were fortunate, but at the same time we were very clinical. And we scored, but our movement was excellent. You can see we had, I think, 7 different goal scorers for the 12. So it's
Yeah,
not like we had
yeah.
one player just dominating the whole thing. Actually, the movement was brilliant and really opened up opportunities for us.
Is Lee as coach taking credit for that then? Because he's obviously coached them well.
No, so I more oversee it now. I used to coach, but I suppose the chairman of the futsal side is my view, and
Yeah.
Stu's the head coach. I take no credit for anything we do when we win, but no, he's done great, and it's a tough start for us. We did all right last season under our old banner. We finished just outside the playoffs, and we could maybe talk about how it works in a minute.
Yeah.
But we have ambitions this year and next year to really push for promotion. We're not saying we're going to walk the league, because we're absolutely not. It's a tough league with some
Mm.
teams who have more money than us, who have been around for longer than us, and we've really up against it. But we've got ambitions to push forward and push Farnborough forward. We'd love to get to tier 2, and I think if we were to go to tier 2, you'd see a massive increase in exposure, and I think the club would really benefit from that. So it's a long term plan to get promoted. Stuart started really well. He's basically got pretty much a new team this year. He's managed to keep a few key players. Excuse me, but it's a tough league, and no tougher than this Saturday when we face Dorset, who won our league last year. Dorset puts our first home game on Sunday, I should say, and yeah, that'll be a really good test for us.
Going back to the league setup, how many? I know you've mentioned the tier system, which sounds easy to understand. But how many teams are in your league this season, for example? And how many games do you play per season? And is it every week? I'm assuming every Sunday.
So we have 8 teams in our league, and we play them home and away, and that is pretty much every weekend up now until I think that'll be done by kind of January time, and then it goes into a playoff system, which just to make sure I don't embarrass myself, I'm going to hand over to Stu, and he will talk through that in more detail.
I'm going to make it really easy. Effectively, what happens is they reform the leagues based on the positions that you finish in. So the teams that sit across the top 2, 3 spaces in the leagues will go into another league, and they'll play each other. They'll all play each other once, and then that will then form the winners, if you like, from that. So the
Right.
first job is to guarantee a top 2 finish in the league we're in, and then we'll move into this second round, if you like,
Yeah.
and then we'd have to win that to get promoted. I mean, aspirations this season are to be competitive in every game, and to really bring the boys together. We've got, like Lee mentioned, a new team. We've got a few players that are staying on from last season. but the vast majority is a new setup, and so it's getting them all on the same page. What's the strategy that works for us and the players we've got, and then how do we execute that on a Sunday? So it
Mm.
started well. Day one started well, and now we've got to try and carry that on. And this Sunday's I mean, it's the biggest test of the season so far, without a doubt. Every game will be like that, but this one certainly will be a see if we can be in with a shout of winning. We want to come away from that game thinking if we don't win it, we could have done if things had come together. So we'll see how that goes.
And in terms of the squad, how many players have you got signed up to the squad, and how many can you take to a game?
So you can take 12 to a match day, and then it's five-a-side, but it's rolling subs. So it's not
Yeah.
like once you're off, you're off. It's constant. You can go 2 minutes, 100% for 2 minutes, and then have a break, go back.
Mm.
And then we've got about 20 players signed on at the moment. So that's really positive. And we will go through all of those players. We'll all get minutes throughout the season because it's you have obviously a week's break. They do a couple of training sessions a week. Naturally we'll pick up injuries. And I think Sunday we started with 12 fit players and we finished with about 8, just because of the speed and intensity of that game and the way that we want to work. But they'll be good for next week, no doubt.
What's the just based on go back to your the makeup of everything. What how many minutes per half is it, or do you play quarters, or is it done that way?
So it's two halves of 20 minutes, and
Yep.
then it's a stop clock. So every time the ball goes out of play, the clock stops. So it can take an hour and a half to play a game,
Mm.
but which works well. It almost ends up being taking just as long to play a football match than it does a futsal match, purely because of the stop clock element that exists.
That's quite good. Yeah, that's good.
And where are 'cause obviously, like you said earlier about the leisure centre in Farnborough, obviously it's been knocked down now. So where do you play your home games this season?
So we're playing and training out of Places Leisure Camberley, so the site over there, and then well, I'm sure at some point Farnborough will be rebuilt, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of been on the cards for a few years now. It hasn't nothing's materialised yet. But
Well, we used to work there, me and Alan, didn't we?
well, yeah, we used to work there. Yeah, I was a lifeguard there for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
excellent. Oh well, probably before my time, but yeah, I worked there for quite a bit as well.
Well, I don't think I'm that old, but
I started there 25 years ago, if that's any use.
yeah. So I was there. I was 20 years old. So I'm So I'm
Similar
43,
time.
that's 23 years ago. Yeah.
You might have just missed each other. You get a result
Maybe,
there,
yeah.
to be fair.
Don't ask me about anybody now. I don't remember anybody that used to work there.
But there was that one girl that you no, we won't go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that on the QT, yeah. His missus might be listening. She tends to listen to the episodes in case I divulge any inside information. So yeah,
No,
she's
she
doing
doesn't, no.
a cup to the wall. Yeah. So
She
you're
doesn't,
playing
no.
at the arena then? The arena, the old arena, as it was once called, on the A30. What time's your kickoff times normally?
So home games 3:40 in the afternoon, and then the away games just depends on the opposition. So
Yeah.
but home games 3:40 down there, so which is good.
Is there any way that some people could come down and watch, or is it not that sort of thing?
No, definitely, without doubt, you can get in. There's free parking within. You park at the leisure facility, and as you go in, you can enter your registration number, and then that can validates your car for 4 hours or so. So yeah, definitely you can get in and come watch the game. The one on Sunday is top of they're last season's champions for our league, so it's going to be a big old game. But we'll get it up on our socials as well as to timings and stuff like that, because we normally can get in the hall 3:15 and then 3:40 kickoffs. So yeah,
Cool.
it's worth coming down.
Yeah, we did the same on ours. We got Instagram and Alan's pretty nifty on the Twitter as well. So we'll show my technical age there, say nifty. But it's a bit 80s that, isn't it? We'll wash it out as well.
Yeah, can I just jump in on that, because I think a lot of the people listening will obviously be Farnborough fans and will go and watch Farnborough on a Saturday and be listening to this going, it's really nice to have, and I hope we do well. But if you were to come down and watch, it's free of charge. It would be massive for the players to see a few extra faces. It's a really low supported sport at the moment, even at the top tier. And if we could start to get a few regulars down wearing our Farnborough shirts on the side, it would make more notice than people would think. If we were to get 30, 40 people down to watch, we'd be the best sport club in the division probably. And we really want to link into to the Farnborough fan base. And kids would love it because there's no shouting and swearing. Yeah, you might hear the odd F word but it's not horrendous. You can hear everything the players say. You are 2 meters from the players as they're playing this fast, technical, fast-paced game. And there's tea and coffee, so it's a perfect watch. It's warm, it's dry. As the winter months roll in, so we would really appreciate it, and we'd make everyone feel as home as we could. If they wanted to come down and watch us, and I'm sure we'll put links to all our home games.
Like Simon said, we've got a couple of we've got our own Twitter account, Instagram, TikTok. So anything that you guys, and we do this with all the different clubs at Farnborough. So anything that you guys post out online, we're gonna retweet, reshare, comment, and everything. So we're gonna really sort of help you push and try and get as many followers as you can. I know your own Twitter page has got quite a lot of followers already. But we'll definitely encourage anyone to go and watch. And I'm sure Simon would. Simon lives in Sander. So,
I'm not down the road. So yeah, I mean, my sister goes to I think she goes to the arena gym as well. I think she does. So yeah, I mean, as regards to swearing, I think my little boy's probably heard worse in the car with me anyway. So I think that'd be too much of an issue for him. So yeah. Not a problem.
Lee, you might be able to answer this one in terms of financing for the futsal team club. What have you had to do? Because I noticed sort of on your shirts that you've got a different. You've obviously got different sponsors to what the main football team have. Obviously, so that's obviously something that you've had to source.
It's a really good question. Adam, because I think people quite rightly think it's five-side football. It can't cost that much. It's a high figure and higher than probably people would expect. So hall hire nowadays, I don't know if anyone ever plays five-a-side with their mates on a Monday or whenever it is. Hall hire is a lot of money. We have to pay for refs. We have to pay for it's an amateur sport. So everything that you see, we have to fund ourselves. So the club have been really supportive. We've got their badge. We've got the same kit. But in order to raise a bit of funds, they were kind enough to let us use our own sponsors. So we've got, a main shirt sponsor, front and center, and a couple on the sleeve. One of which is our youth section, and the other is a local physio, Pilates. So it's,
give them a plug, Lee. Give them a plug. Now's the time.
Yeah. So it's ATC, who are a big company that are one of our best players, Marek, kindly sorted out. So that was player led, that sponsorship. Active Recovery Sports and Pilates are a company based in Farnborough in Southwood. So again, they do Pilates, they do sports therapy, sports massage. So if anyone needs one, just Google them. They're brilliant. And our youth section, which don't get me started because I will waffle on about for hours on end and how brilliant it is called the Futsal Development Centre. And that's been running for many years. And we provide futsal coaching to all ages and Keeley, all abilities. We are not an academy. We want all the kids in Farnborough and local area to come down and play for us and enjoy this wonderful sport. So, check us out on the internet and check our sponsors out, please. Going back to your question, Alan, excuse me, about finance, it costs a lot. It does cost a lot. The kit we have to pay for, the halls, the refs. Invariably, players will rip shorts. I don't know why they all cut socks off now at the ankle, but that seems to be the fashionable thing to do. Balls will get burst. Players will leave, players will come. So it probably cost him between 5 and 10 grand a year to run. So it's a significant amount, which is a barrier to entry for a lot of teams. Luckily, with the support we've had, we're okay. But the players pay. So each player that plays for us pays a monthly fee, pays for their own kit, and that covers it. So it's very much player and coach owned and led. They are not here they don't get paid. They're here because they want to be, and that's the key to it. So it's not cheap. So any would-be sponsors out there, we're always willing to have a chat.
No, absolutely.
I mean, for those sponsors, I mean, it's like the ladies' team when they started off. I mean, that they were they went from nothing pretty much to sort of getting involved with the club, and now they're sort of they've done really well with their first season. into the second season now. Got themselves obviously got sponsorship and helpful through the club. But yeah, I mean, any sponsors around, now's the time to get involved really, because you're on an upward curve. You guys, especially with as you've seen with even with both the ladies teams both got promoted last year. You guys are looking to hopefully do the same, and certainly be competitive in your first season as you under the Farnborough Football Club banner. So yeah, now's the time to get involved. So yeah, it all sounds quite exciting. If I was 20 years younger, I'd look at getting involved. To be fair.
Well, I think that's a good point, because this all started, as I said earlier, from a bunch of, I don't want to call us all middle-aged men, but our first team, we would have all been playing in our first match, put it that way, if you would have wanted to, because we were just a group of people who Stu was just trying to teach the basics. And God help him, we were terrible, but we just did the best we could. We still accommodate that kind of ethos of we will invite anyone down for a game. So we have a Tuesday night session, which is a bit of where players can come and try it. And that's like an entry, and if I want to come and try it, come down on a Tuesday, and then if it's something I want to take on seriously and Stu thinks at the level needed, then they come along to the Thursday night, which is the main one. But we've got a real mix of players. We've got 16-year-old lads that have come through the youth system to players in their 30s and 40s who have played football at a decent level. Hungarians, I mean, Stu, but the nationals, we've got an Afghanistan player called Kamau, who's our top goal scorer. He came over as a refugee from Afghanistan when the trouble helped and could barely speak a word of English. Just turned up at training one day, and we kind of worked with him and done a lot of support with him outside of futsal as well. So we're not all about you're a brilliant player, come play for us. It's about come and try it. If you like it, let's see what we can do.
Where do they so Tuesday night and Thursday nights, where and when are the sessions?
So Tuesday nights are like it's the session at Yateley School, just over the border in Yateley, and Thursdays over in Camberley, so the same place we play our matches.
And what time are they?
So Yateley is, contact us, because we do vary that a little bit, but it's around about 7 or 8 o'clock start. And Stu, it's 8:15, is it, the Thursday session?
Yeah, 8:15 to 10:15 on a Thursday.
So yeah, it's open to everyone. So we if you're interested, get in contact. We'll have a conversation.
Yeah, great. Yeah, just find out you guys through your either through the club website or through the futsal page. There's a Twitter page as well, isn't there? People can get involved in DM, etc. So we encourage anybody who's interested to get in contact, come down, have a go. Even if you don't think you're going to be very good, have a go. You never know. You might find your calling in life. I'm still looking for mine, but I don't think it'd be futsal somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And if we get 50, if we get a group of players who just want to play but don't want to play at a high level, then we'll start a session like a just play session, so they can learn the game in a relaxed environment. Because I don't want to whittle on about it all the time. Like, we want people to play futsal. We want people to learn and experience the game. Yes, we want Farnborough to progress, and long-term goals are long-term goals. But equally, the futsal community and the other teams, we all work together to get more people playing futsal. It's very different from football, where you're rivals. Yeah, when we step on court, we want to beat you, but off court, we all work together. We all share each other's social media. It's a really nice community to be part of, and as soon as you get involved in it, you end up loving and looking out for other teams, because you want everyone to do well.
And it's good that you're sort of helping, like you said, with the Afghanistan lads, helping sort of local people that are just coming into the community and helping them to sort of find their way and all that. So, and you've helped them outside of the game as well. So that's a really good sort of thing that you're doing as well.
Yeah, it's you try and help people no matter what walk of life you're in, and if playing futsal is a release for people and we can help that, then brilliant. We'll do that. It helps when they're brilliant players as well. Let's not forget. He's a top lad, and Stu's.
I was going to say, if he was no good, we probably got rid of him by now. Sent him back to Afghanistan.
But and Stu can probably talk about player development maybe a bit more, because you get these really raw players that you see have got skills and ability, but to get them to play in a futsal team is another test, and Stu will know more about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He was still quiet. I don't think he wanted to say anything. So what's he talking about?
We're talking about player development. We just want to win. No, no, we're fully. I've been around the game long enough. We're fully aware that the end result, the result will look after itself. It's very much
Yeah.
one of those of if you're gonna win, it's because you've put in all the hard yards before. And we do a lot of work based around those five key elements that I mentioned earlier, and just getting people to really understand those and those players. And you'll see them in football and in futsal, those players that can see those five elements, they can make a quick decision. They can play with speed. They can be agile. They can move around. So you got a hand up.
I have, yeah. Well, I'm going to jump in because I just wanted to say briefly before we all forget that that you guys are going to be down at the game on Saturday, aren't you? The Enfield game at the club. What time are you guys going to be there for? They're from, and what you guys going to be doing?
So we're going to be there. I do apologise, a constant coughing.
I thought that was it. I thought, yeah, we're going to be there, and that was it. The end.
Yeah,
we're
so we're
there.
going to be
See ya.
there. That's it.
See you then.
We're going to be here from about 2 o'clock. And I've just been chatting with the guys at the club about. I think we're going to try and hand out some leaflets, and just kind of introduce on a very casual, non-intrusive basis that we're the Futsal team, and this is who we are. We'd love to see you down at a game, or even to just follow us on social media. But we're part of the club. We want to be part of the club, not just the Futsal side. I think we're going to try and get a photo in front of the stand. It's all about trying to show to everyone we're here. We want to be part of a club, and we want to help the club move forward. Farnborough's priority is football, men's team in the National League South. That's will always be the priority. We completely understand that, but they're showing really good progress with things like the women's team, and they're open-minded to a lot of things, which is really commendable, because not all clubs at that level would be. It'd be very much insular, first team only.
Yeah.
This is what we're cracking on. So, as a fan, been a Farnborough fan all my life, it's nice, obviously, that they've taken on the Futsal, but it shows to me they're forward thinking, and I think that's great for the future for the club.
Yeah, and it kind of goes along with their community ethos and working for the community and working with the community and helping the community, and like you guys, I don't know if you're a fan as well, Stuart, but like you say, Lee, you're a fan, and this is just for the club. It's another like string to their bow, of something that they do for the club and for the town.
Yes, and I will confirm I'm definitely a fan. There'll be some people I'm sure that watch this that might think I recognise that face. And when the Farnborough had a supporters team many years ago, I was the number 23, the wizard on the back. So there'll be people that remember that. I've still got my shirt upstairs. Still got my Lenny Piper shirt upstairs as well, actually.
Oh
So,
wow!
Are you living on past glories like Alan does every day? Every time I speak to him,
I'm living off the Sunday's 12-5 win.
No, I don't. Like you, Simon, I don't have any glories, let alone past ones.
Listen, every day, the one goal he scored, it was a strike from a corner, wind assisted, straight in the top corner. He ran off celebrating. I always remember it. I think he took his shirt off, got booked, etc., etc. So it wasn't a pretty sight back then. I don't know what it's like now, but yeah.
But Stuart, so going back to like the player development sort of side of things, you mentioned that you've also got some badges. Are they now futsal badges sort of run and done similarly to normal football level 1, level 2, or whatever?
Effectively, yes. To get the UEFA B futsal, so I sit as a UEFA B licensed football and futsal coach. And to do the UEFA B futsal license, you have to have your level 1 and level 2, your UEFA C, if you like now, football one. So I started off and went through the level 1 football, level 2 football. The club I was playing for at the time, from a futsal point of view, were able to put me through my level 1 futsal. I then sort of met Lee, and that's where I did my level 2 futsal. And then went off and I did my UEFA B futsal first, and then my UEFA B football. A couple of years ago? Finished that a couple of years ago now. So
quite a bit of money then doing this.
I get other people to pay for it for me. No, yeah, no, without a doubt. It's I mean, it's not a cheap thing, but
No.
I think this is where the commitment to the club, the football club that I've been coaching with. Like I said, I've been doing that since my son was under 7, so that's about 10 years ago now. And then with the futsal side of it as well, with Lee, it's committing to do those things and bring the players on. As we mentioned with that player development, it's Bill Walsh, you might know, has written a book that's The Score Takes Care of Itself, as I alluded to earlier, and it's all about the standard of performance, and we want to get the standard of performance right to then be able to take that into game days, and then the score Sunday's game that looked after itself because we'd had 2 weeks of this is the standard of performance we're expecting. Take that to Sunday, and then we can see what happens. And that's the same going into this Sunday as we'll have a training session tomorrow. We'll have one on Thursday, and the standard of performance will be this is what we expect. Take that to Sunday, and those that commit to it, no problem. The score take care of itself. Those that don't, then unfortunately we start again.
You're an odd man. You're an odd man, Stuart. You're an odd man.
But with the players that you've got, have you got are they of like a slightly higher standard, or are they of the level that you're at now?
The individual quality we've got can go and play higher without a doubt. That's our biggest threat is that those players, some of those players, we could lose to higher teams without a shadow of a doubt. However, the ethos that we've got, the standard of performance that we expect, those players want to be there and then take the club further. So it'd be some of them without a doubt could go and play higher. But that's my challenge is to keep them enthused, engaged in what we're doing and the project that we've got. And some of those will buy into it, and those that buy into it will be here and they're going to have a great time. Those that don't buy into it, we'll go and find another club. But we get that because they understand what we're trying to achieve and where we want to go. So.
Yeah, certainly help playing when you play, having a few fans down at your games. That certainly helped, won't it?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, getting people along to come and see it because I think the standard that you will see will be something. We have people when we're training. Don't know if you can hear the dog screaming in the background there, but my wife's just got in, I think. The standard that we've got down there, we get a lot of people stood watching the training sessions because they see it going and think, "Wow, what a level that is being played at." So yeah, come and have a look, come and have a watch.
I'll just jump in there. Sorry, I'll make it very quick. On Stu's coaching, he's quite modest. He is a fantastic coach. We're very lucky to have him. He's the highest qualified futsal coach that we can have in England. There's no higher qualification he can have, and experience-wise, there's very few like him. There's no doubt. A bit like our players that we've got that could play at tier 2 or tier 1. We've got a manager and a coach which could coach at that level if he wanted to. Stu's brought into the ethos. He's rode the hard yards of having 5 players for a game in the last couple of years and playing himself. And we're attracting players that we've got a player this year that played in tier 1 last year, the top tier of futsal, who's seen what's gone on, come along to training and gone, I want to be part of this journey. I want to be part of this. Yeah. And that's all down to Stu. I'm not going to go on because they're embarrassing, but he's absolutely brilliant. And you see it. You see people coming out of the gym in Camberley, walking past the hall, and you can see the sports when they stop and they're just staring at it because it's so fast, so quick, so technical. And brilliant. So anyone that wants to come along on Sunday and watch, brilliant, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, Sunday as well, but also get involved with the Tuesday nights as well. Just get hold of you guys on the website. As I say, reiterate that. Can't reiterate that enough. Get involved if you really feel like you fancy a go at it. Just come along on the Tuesdays. Get in touch with the guys on the Twitter or their futsal page.
Yeah, no, exactly. And what, like we were saying, Lee, is you guys have obviously got like a vision of what you want to do, how it's set out, how you want the club to go and progress. And that starts and stops with you guys as well. And that's what the players are buying into, and that's how you've attracted the players from tier 1 to come down and go on that journey with you guys. So I think the pair of you can take a lot of credit with that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Alan. I think, and if you guys or anyone listening wants to go and type in the Futsal League, it will come up quite easily, and you'll see teams. And Stu mentioned Manchester, fantastic team at tier 1, but it's not Manchester United or Manchester City. It's Manchester Futsal Club. It's their own club. And I think I personally see a lot in futsal in the early days of women's football, when you'd have these standalone teams that have worked their way up. But now you look at it and it's Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal. You very rarely have. So Farnborough
all affiliated, aren't they? All affiliated with clubs, yeah.
Now I may be wrong, but futsal's going to go along a similar path. Farnborough are well ahead of the game, and
Yeah.
There's very few clubs, I think, off the top of my head, affiliated to semi-pro teams. Maidenhead isn't far from us. They have a team in Tier 1, and their reserve team actually are in our league, so that'd be a good local derby. But I know they like the support of the first team as well. So we're way ahead of it. We're way ahead of the curve, and we're doing well. It's going to be a tough year, because expectations are a bit higher. But we're well on a good path, and that's positive for everyone.
And that's the other thing as well. Like you touched on it there with affiliation with actual football clubs, and that's what and obviously that's what you guys have done. But these players and Stuart as well as the head coach can turn around and say that they are the head coach of Farnborough Football Club futsal team. They're a player of Farnborough Football Club futsal team, not just Farnborough Futsal. It's Farnborough FC. And that's a big, and this is what we said. Me and Simon said when the women's team started, and they were playing games at the ground.
Yeah,
that's a big draw for players to come when they're coming in, and it's the same with you guys. The big draw is having that Farnborough shirt on, the Farnborough badge, and not just a generic Farnborough futsal side. So that's a big thing that will attract players and fans alike.
I agree. It's a really good point. And we want to help out the club. I mean, we're not pretending that any of our players they're fantastic players, but they're not at the level where the management team of a football club are going to start pinching them. But players in Tier 1 would be of interest to clubs like Farnborough. You've got a lot of professional footballers now who play. Max Kilman plays for West Ham, played futsal for England, and played top tier futsal when he was developing up the ranks and going through the leagues. And pretty much every top European footballer that you can name, your Messi, your Ronaldo, Zidane's, all played futsal as a kid. So it's going to become more and more popular, and there's more footballers out there, which won't bore everyone with. But as you're seeing players go through academies now, like Jadon Sancho's and the like, they've all played futsal in academies because it is now embedded in academies. So it's going to get bigger, as Stu says. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get better. And now's the time to jump on board and get involved.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of your recruitment, I mean, you're already getting a few foreign players in already, so that's always a good big thing. You know what I mean? It's a bit like the Chelsea days in the late 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we've got to load up so we can start loading people out.
Yeah.
Is it obviously the plan is obviously for you guys that you said earlier to progress up the tiers? Is part of those plans to introduce a second team as well, because obviously you've got like a squad of 20, and if more people become interested and show do you mean like if you get a lot more people on a Tuesday that want to transfer over to the Thursday session and be part of the team, the squad's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger?
Definitely, and that's our second shout out really is, and Lee will soon wave and say stop talking, Stuart, but is also coaches. Because if you've got people out there that understand that certainly understand the philosophy of coaching that we're looking at is, if to get better at a game, you need to play the game. So rather than stood still, just smacking a ball backwards and forwards between two people to practice passing, actually we're going to get better at the game. So we're going to play the game to get better at it. And so looking for coaches that will be able to support that journey, because then we certainly, as time goes on, we'll be able to have that, first team, reserve team, the youth development coming through. It suddenly builds the quality within, but also it gives people an opportunity for progression, but players as well as coaches. So if there's people out there that are like, oh, I can't play anymore, but I'd love to get involved in coaching and see what that's about, then get in contact with Lee and he'll sort you out one way or another. You'll be good or
yeah. That's a really good point, Stuart, actually, because it's not just about playing. You need to have the backroom team as well around you to make so everybody improves, and you can actually improve people as well with the correct guidance. So it's a good shout. Yeah,
it absolutely is. The support team, even for a little futsal side like ours, and I call us little because we're still quite new and amateur. We have the players that do a lot of the admin behind team sheets and website updates. They all do that themselves. We've got lucky enough to have Jodie, who's fantastic on our social media, does our YouTube channel. She does highlights of the games. It's absolutely top quality stuff. So please have a look at it. But we're very lucky to have that support team. But you do need that support team. So even if it's a volunteer to to come in and take some photos or update the Twitter page as we're playing, all volunteers would be very welcome.
What's your you got a Twitter handle? What's sorry, not Twitter. You've got a YouTube handle. What's the YouTube handle if people want to have a look at it?
It's just changed, but I think it's just Farnborough Futsal. If you YouTube and search for Farnborough Futsal, you'll find us because it's quite unique, and
Cool.
yeah, it's good. It's good quality. It's at pitch level. It's awesome. We'd love to have a video cam, but they're very expensive. We'd love to have someone
Money. Yeah.
for the tilt, but what Jody does is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it will give you an insight into the game. But again, seeing it live makes a big difference.
Yeah, we'll get that tagged up as well, so people can have a look at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like you say, having a support team around you guys to help do these things is key. And I know Simon's on here. I'm still looking for support staff to help me with everything that I do with this podcast. So
he's power hungry, guys. He's power hungry. You try and take. He gets the ump because I control the Instagram, and he gets the ump about that. He's trying to get wrestle control. Guessing.
Well, you say control the Instagram. I haven't seen you post anything yet.
He's been trying to guess my passwords for the last few months. He's still failed miserably. So he's trying to get in and take it over.
Brilliant.
Right. I think before we go, just reiterate when do you train Tuesday nights at Yateley?
Yeah.
And then Thursdays at Camberley.
That's right. Yeah. So Tuesdays typically 8 till 9 at Yateley, but again, get in contact so we know if you're coming. And then Thursdays 8:15, 10:15 at Camberley, and that typically the Tuesday's the first one. If you're going to come to a session, come to the Tuesday, and then the Thursday becomes a little bit more serious, if you like, or more strategic planning and then games on Sundays, 3:30 home games. But get on the socials and you'll find that information.
So anyone that's interested in watching or playing, then just get in touch with the club at Farnborough FC Futsal on the Twitter, and you can get in touch with. And if you can't get hold of these guys, then obviously give us a shout here on the podcast. Send us a DM, and we can forward anything on to the guys as well. But it's easy to get hold of them. Right. Thanks, guys. Lee, Stuart, thanks for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been actually been really good learning about the sport itself and what it entails. It's because like we said at the top of the show, it's a sport that we didn't really know anything about. So thanks for enlightening us. Thanks for teaching us, basically. And I'm sure we'll get to a game on a Sunday soon.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
Well, I might try and get down on Sunday, to be fair, because I've got my little boy, so he might prefer that to the ladies' game. So I'm always going to take him to the ladies' match, but I might bring him down to Leisure Centre. He'll probably
the ladies.
Give me a mascot. Walk out with us.
Yeah, come along.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be fine. But just a big shout out to you guys for inviting us on. It's indicative of a club, but it's again inclusive, and we're trying to grow everything. So a big shout out to you guys for inviting us on, and maybe we'll come on, in 6 months' time and give you an update, see how we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely, yeah.
You said the check's in the post, Lee, yeah?
Yeah, bank transferred.
Top lad.
Yeah. Don't transfer it to him.
straight into the betting account, yeah. It's been good.
Right, don't go away, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Don't go away, guys. So stay on, and we'll have a little chat up when we come off. But that leads me to say thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on, and thanks, Simon. Say good night.
Say good night.
This episode is sponsored by Chartec Consulting, taking your business visions and turning them into innovative reality. For more information, visit chartecconsulting.co.uk. And that leaves me to say good night from me. We will be back next week, I think. Hopefully, we'll have a player on our next episode. So it's all in the work. But we will see you all. Well, we'll see everybody on Saturday. You guys, obviously, you guys will be there Saturday, and we'll be there Saturday as well. So we'll stop and say hello.
Yep. Enfield at home, 3 o'clock. Come a bit earlier. Say hello to Lee and Stuart and me, if you like. Don't forget that if I've got a burger in my hand, don't approach me.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Yeah, don't forget, if you see Simon with a burger in his hand, do not approach him. He will eat your hand off. But thanks for watching, everybody on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us as well, and follow these guys as well. And let me say good night.